Alright, so Modern Warfare is coming out, and I honestly don't know what to say. I did a live stream where I talked about a lot of my thoughts on Modern Warfare. It slowly kind of devolved into just me and friends just private matching on Modern Warfare 3 and screaming at each other, which I think is way more entertaining, but whatever. If you watched that live stream and then you still clicked on this video, mad props to you. You also probably need to find more interesting things to watch on the platform. In all seriousness, I'm very excited for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It seems like a great return to form in a practical, modern setting, and I love the fact that the guys from the old Infinity Ward team are working on this game. So the COD 4 Modern Warfare 2 team that had the falling out with Activision back then are working on this game. From what Exclusive Ace said, because he actually got invited out there, is that some of the key heads that worked on Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4, and that's fantastic. The campaign is set to be dark, gritty, realistic, and controversial as shit. People are comparing the entire campaign to the veracity of No Russian. That should tell you all you need to know. But because I focus on multiplayer on this channel, I want to talk about some of the concerns I have, and I kind of want to pour the water on some hype. So crossplay has been confirmed for console and PC, and Call of Duty has a new engine, and there's no season pass. Now at first I was concerned about how crossplay would work between all the platforms, and then I found out that, from a couple sources at least, it says that you have to have a controller plugged into your computer to actually do cross-platform with other console players. I think this is more than fair, and there's several reasons why. Keyboard and mouse changes the meta. This is why people do not like playing ranked Siege on console. Ranked Rainbow Six Siege on console is ruined by keyboard and mouse users. That's not an over-exaggeration. Keyboard and mouse versus controller puts the controller user at a disadvantage most of the time. And simply put, it's just snappier and more precise.
Foot move. I swear.
The meta of Call of Duty is different on PC because of the nature of keyboard and mouse. Certain weapons that seem okay on console are overpowered on PC, and it's just an entirely different meta, an entirely different system, and merging them just raw, like, oh, PC players and console players play together, whatever, fuck it, it's not a great idea. Call of Duty is played by primarily the casual players. You have your tryhards, you have your sweaties, but most of the people playing Call of Duty are just the average Joe. And they don't deserve to log on after work and get stomped on by somebody with a $1,400 gaming rig, and if I have to explain why, you haven't been playing video games. If I wanted to hop on PC and be competitive on PC, I would have to learn how to use mouse and keyboard. So if a PC player comes over to console and wants to play against console people, I think they should have to learn how to use a controller. At least for PvP. When it comes to co-op spec ops missions, let them use their keyboard and mouse for God's sake. But also, PC players, you might think, well, that excludes me, I'm not using a controller. That's fair, but the PC community has not a lot of legs to stand on. Your player base dwindles so fast. Playing a current lifecycle Call of Duty game on PC is like playing a Call of Duty that's 3 years out of its lifecycle on console. Black Ops 4 luckily was a part of a Humble Bundle Monthly, so that helped that a little bit, but it's still the easiest just to find bare bones matches and TDM. So basically, where there was once a 40 billion ton barrier between console and PC, there's now just a 4-pound barrier, which is a controller that you can use and play with other people on console, which will be great because when you can play with PC players that also have controllers plugged in, and PlayStation players and Xbox players, you're going to be able to find matches in multiple game modes much more quickly. But if you want to stick to just playing TDM with your keyboard and mouse, enjoy your ivory tower. So now that I'm not worried about keyboard and mouse users smacking me and when I'm trying to play a team deathmatch on my Xbox with my buddies, I am actually quite excited for the crossplay. The player base should be much bigger, finding matches should be much faster, and it'll be exciting to see who wins more matches, PlayStation players or Xbox players. So the next thing is no season pass, and this doesn't excite me really at all right now because Titanfall 2 didn't have a season pass, Battlefield 5 didn't have a season pass, and those are both EA games, and you know, they have their own development hell stories that go on in the background, lots of rumors. But I will say that not having a season pass does not mean the post-launch of the game is just going to be better or more pro-consumer. I am expecting a huge emphasis on microtransactions, a very non-consumer friendly battle pass type system, RNG loot. I'm expecting the worst right now, because I doubt they're going to not charge you for a season pass and then just give you all of the guns for free like Infinite Warfare did. I would love it if they would just give you a challenge to complete and then you get a gun, but I can't get my hopes up for that. I know they're going to find a way to irritate the hell out of me. Even Infinite Warfare annoyed me with how fast, or I should say how slow, you earned salvage. And also, Infinite Warfare felt the need to earn players' trust because it wasn't going off of name recognition, except for the fact that it was a COD game. It wasn't going off of nostalgia, and most people did not want something along the lines of Infinite Warfare. They just didn't want that style of Call of Duty. Something comes along with Captain Price on the cover that says Modern Warfare, and people are already pre-ordering before even seeing multiplayer footage, so I imagine they know they already have your money because they're giving you what you've asked for. And then 3 or 4 months after launch, the nonsense is going to start. That's just where I'm in my head. That might sound cynical or pessimistic, but really I'm just observing a pattern and assuming that this will follow it. Even me as a YouTuber that's going to be covering this game, I am not pre-ordering until like 4 days before the game comes out, just so I can have it preloaded on my Xbox and ready to play at 10 p.m. Most of you don't need footage, you don't need to cover video games, you don't need to review things and write down your first impressions, so yeah, there's no reason for you to pre-order. So if you already pre-ordered, that's fine. But what I recommend you doing is the first time you see something you don't like, they reveal some piece of information that bothers you, cancel your pre-order. Even if you plan on pre-ordering again later or buying it at launch later, cancel your pre-order so they can see pre-order numbers go down. They can see pre-orders being canceled and money being returned back, and they can correlate that with the reveal. So if they say that, oh, by the way, we have a battle pass system and supply drops are coming back, just go ahead and cancel and make them sweat until the game comes out. So yeah, we don't know how it's going to be implemented. So no season pass is a good step, but we don't know how consistent it's going to be. And I honestly want one map and some guns every 2 months. I feel like that's fair for them to do throughout an entire year, just a map and some weapons every 2 months. I'm sure they're gonna have timed events and, temporary game modes in there too, because, fake content is fun. But if they alternated between a new map and then a remastered map, and then a new map and a remastered map throughout the year, I would be happy with that. Because at least if it's every 2 months, you can just know it's coming out, instead of it just being a mystery like it was for us with Battlefield 5 when you just didn't know when things were gonna happen. That way, if you get bored of Modern Warfare, you can at least know that, well, I guess the new weapons are coming out in a couple weeks, so I'll just wait and play then. And you can do that when you know when stuff is coming out. So hopefully they deliver a roadmap, at least 4 roadmaps. I want to see 4 roadmaps, quarterly roadmaps for their free content. And don't put anything that affects gameplay, like weapons, behind RNG. And I don't know, you and me, Infinity Ward, we can get along great. The next thing is the new engine. So basically, this is the same engine. It's the same IW engine that COD's been built off of forever, but it's been heavily altered, and the graphics and audio part of it has been completely redone. If you watch the trailer, they're going for full photo realism. This doesn't just give the Frostbite engine a run for its money, it just looks better in my opinion. And it's apparently supposed to support things like ray tracing, HDR, 4K resolutions, and all the things we have come to expect, along with that 60 Hz high frame rate fluid action that console Call of Duty players and PC Call of Duty players have been experiencing forever. So it should still feel like Call of Duty, but just so you know, they've done a heavy overhaul to the engine. This is how engines work. This is just how game engines work. Look it up. Okay? Every engine has a base they have to be built off of, but this engine is so redone, it's so new, they could call it new, similar to what Battlefield did when they released a new version of Frostbite. It's still Frostbite, but it's so new, it's hard to compare. So this will probably mean we get a new set of bugs and graphical problems and glitches and performance drops and things, and just a new set of problems that weren't present before. With new engine, with new changes, comes new problems. And I don't want to hear, well, Call of Duty needs a new engine, because once it has a new engine, it's just going to have new problems like every goddamn video game. I know it's fun to talk about Call of Duty as if it's not a video game, because it just seems like it's so warped into the culture that you don't think of it as a video game anymore. It's just somebody's way of life. Look, it's a video game, and video games are run off of engines, and engines are not usually started 100% from scratch to release a game. But what I heard is that they've been working on this iteration of the engine over the last 5 years. Bringing in photorealism and fluidity to both PC and console is damn fucking impressive. And Prestigious Key found on the Activision blog that This game doesn't have specialists. Modern Warfare does not have specialists or rigs. Everybody, goddamn it, rejoice. There are operators instead, and these operators have a backstory. They're their own character with their own cosmetics, but they don't add anything to the game. They're just there. They're just cosmetic. Now, I would personally love to build my character from scratch. Maybe we can build our character from scratch, and there's also just a choice for operators. I don't know how it's going to be, but these operators do not affect gameplay. They're just there for aesthetics. If you pre-order the game, you get 3 COD 4 themed ones: War Pig, Crew Expendable, and All Gillied Up. I think I got those right. And these are basically 3 characters you can play as that have their own sets of skins. And I want to close this video out by saying we don't know anything else. I mean, yeah, there's other things like probably left out of this video that I could have mentioned, but look, we don't know how the maps play. We don't know what the creative class system is going to be like. We don't know how long the campaign is. We don't know anything. Do not pre-order right now. Don't get too excited. Just because it's crossplay doesn't mean it'll be implemented well. Just because there is a season pass absence, that doesn't mean it's going to be implemented well. It doesn't mean post-launch content is saved for this game before it even comes out. We don't know yet. Let's first focus on base gameplay mechanics, perk balance, weapon balance and variety, create a class, and all of that. Let's look into that first, and map design and how they flow, and what the pace of the game is going to be like. Is it going to be like COD 4? Is it going to be like Modern Warfare 2? Is it going to be like Ghosts? Is it going to be like Black Ops 2? How is it going to play? For everything we know today, we do not know like 100 other things. So try not to put the cart before the horse, because we don't exactly know what's coming. We won't know how good the post-launch is until we're post-launch. We won't know how good the maps are until we get to actually have our hands on them. No amount of IGN footage or YouTubers' conjecture is going to cement the game. We, at this point, still need to remember that until it comes out, shit's a mystery. But I look forward to them describing to us how the multiplayer works. I always love those live streams. We will probably hear more around E3. I'm incredibly hyped because this is the style of Call of Duty I've been waiting for, but it still has so many chances to fail. I have to keep my heart rate down, because seriously, there are so many points of failure where this game could crash and burn, whether before launch, right after launch. There's too many to count. There's too many little things that can happen that makes me hate the game. Like, the game could be great, post-launch content could be great, but then balance isn't good, and post-launch support in terms of balancing weapons is really bad. But worst case scenario, we have another Black Ops 4 situation where the post-launch content is shit. Yeah. Okay, if we're voting. Yeah. Oh, who still does that?
Yeah.
What?
Fucking put a fucking cryo mine on a wall run spot. Like, who raised you? And the post-launch balancing and support is also shit. I'm just hoping for a solid game that makes me feel respected. That's what Infinite Warfare did for me. I don't think it was perfect, but I felt like it was a solid shooter that respected me as a player enough to know what to give me and when. But I still feel like Infinite Warfare was trying to earn my trust, and I feel like Modern Warfare is trying to capitalize on my lust. That's the best way I can put that. I don't know. I'm happy that we have a campaign that makes the game feel more complete and more timeless, and I look forward to covering it for you guys when it comes out. So anyway, here's to hopefully a good year of Call of Duty, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.